Thank you very much for the warm welcome. Let's get right into it. We want to start off by asking you 3 questions. All right. First question. Who of you guys has heard of Google Analytics? Show us your hands. Come on, guys. Okay, that's, I think, the whole audience. Then, second question. Who of you has ever set up or ever used Google Analytics? Okay, a few less, but still many of you. And third, last but not least, who of you is using Google Analytics on a day-to-day basis and really benefiting from it? Show us your hands one last time. Come on, guys. Okay. Okay, did I even see hands? Can I see that again? All right, some over there. Nice, sweet. You might be wondering why we were asking these questions. You will be able to tell in a second. Therefore, I want to tell you a quick story that we've experienced with a customer just recently, just a few weeks ago. So what we did is we created the new website of a big German customer, big German client from us, and we made the whole update of their Shopify store. So what you need to know is the Shopify store had a really high conversion rate of almost 10%. So when Alex and I, when we made the update of the store, we wanted to make definitely sure that everything went well, so that everything is going well and that there were no mistakes and no drops in conversion rate. And so we met at lunchtime, we had a Slack call and we did it together, and the go live, actually everything seemed fine. We had conversions coming in, everything seemed good, right? So everything looked good. Of course, we found a few bugs, but we fixed them in the afternoon. And so I thought, all right, let's just give it a few hours and then check the data to see how it's going to continue. And then, like at nighttime, just before I went to bed, I thought, let me check the Shopify stats. And so the first metric that I checked was the conversions, the revenue. And this is what I saw. The revenue went up by 10% compared to the same day of the last week. So pretty all right, right? Looking pretty decent. And the next thing, of course, what I checked, since the conversion rate had always been at 10%, at nearly 10%, I thought, of course, I have to check the conversion rate. And when I checked the conversion rate, this is what I saw. So the one in the red box. We had dropped within a few hours to a 3% conversion rate. So at over 65% drop. And can you imagine Alex and me, our reaction? Because the first thing that I was doing was I called Alex, of course, and I was like, what's going on there? And this is basically us. So, as you might imagine, we were freaking out a bit, and to show you how serious the situation is, this is the conversion rate of the shop over the last weeks before the go live, and it had always been like at about, as I said, at about 10%, and this is the enormous drop within just a few hours.
So guys, what do you think? What might cause this enormous drop in the conversion rate? Do you have any ideas? Any volunteer? Not this one. Yeah, Leo, go for it.
Tracking issues.
All right, yeah, kind of. Say again? Yeah, we'll see. The thing is, this client didn't have a proper Google Analytics setup at the moment. Of course, Chris and I, we are going to do it afterwards. But we couldn't double check the data and find the issue, all right? Luckily, we could find the issue at the Shopify stats, and this is what we found. So, by the time we went live, the session of the store at 11 in the morning went up from 100 sessions per hour to 500 sessions per hour. So, of course, if you have up to 4 to 5 times more sessions with the same sales, the conversion rate drops, right, guys? So it wasn't until we made the new theme that the store wasn't tracking right. So the bottom line here, guys, is that you can really trust your tracking, because from our experience, what happened to us can happen to you guys also in every single platform, not just Shopify. So let's see an example. As you are media buyers, most of you run ads. If you go to the Meta's Business Manager and you click on conversion, you will see this message, all right? And this basically says, as you might know, that since iOS, you can't really trust your tracking. And this is because they use a statistical modeling, which basically means they are trying to guess your data, all right? So, our short slogan, traditional tracking is dead. Boom. So, if you use Shopify, Meta, ClickFunnels, and this kind of platforms for tracking, you're literally flying blind. And this is caused because iOS 14, ad blockers, cookie consent, banners, so all of this is limiting us. So our recommendation, guys, always use a third-party tool. So you can double-check data again and get the real situation of your business, because you can now anticipate problems, all right?
And what has been the solution for this so far? I think many of you might be able to tell themselves, but here it is. It was Universal Analytics, or GA3. It has been the major solution for data tracking for over 10 years now, and let's say almost every online business has had some kind of touch points with it within the last years. So, I want to show you a few advantages of GA3, of Universal Analytics, so you understand what it is actually, or what it used to be good for. The first one, of course, you can double check your data. So things like with our client are never going to happen to you. I really hope that for you. The second thing is you can visualize your data properly, so you get a visual idea of what is going on in your store or in your account whatsoever. And the third thing is that you have all your data of all your different ad platforms in one place, of all your different platforms like Google, TikTok, Facebook. You can collect the data in one place and you can compare it, of course. So, however, there is a really, really big problem. The ones of you that have logged into Google Analytics 3 or Universal Analytics within the last 12 months probably saw this message. On the 1st of July 2023, this property will stop processing data, which means, drastically said, or as it is, just as it really is, in 50 days, it will no longer track any data. Google Analytics is basically about to shut down. Its sunset is very close. And in order to empathize with you how serious the situation actually is, we created this imagery from a movie you might have seen. Because if you're a web analyst, if you're an email marketer, if you own an e-com, a media buyer, SEO, whatever, all of us online marketers, we're all in this together. And we all have to embrace ourselves for the Universal Analytics sunset.
However, guys, there's hope. And that hope, guess it, is Google Analytics 4. So this is why we are bringing you today here how to survive to Universal Analytics sunset. So you might wonder, so what is going on with GA4? All right. So Chris and I, we are bringing you here the greatest hits of GA4 during the last 4 years. So you can skip the boring part. And it was released in October 2020 with just a few features, kind of like a sandbox environment. And it's been operational since then at the same time as Universal Analytics. It's been constantly improving during the last 2.5 years. And now we can definitely say it has grown to become a worthy successor of Universal Analytics. And the most important thing, the biggest updates just came within the last weeks. So guys, we're bringing here the breaking news, all right? So you need to pay attention because this is fresh. So, just to have an idea, in 2023, there have been several releases. And Chris and I, we have been reading all of them, paying a lot of attention to all of them. So we can do a selection of the most important things, so you can guys know just what you need to know, all right? If you have to do this by yourself, it will take you like, I don't know, Chris?
200 hours.
At least.
So, what you guys might be asking yourself now, since we say it's going from GA3 to GA4, well, if I do an update on my MacBook, let's say, it's not a big deal, right? Only an update, so why are we making such a big deal out of it, out of an update? So, is it just an update? Is it right that we use the rocket and the boat, and is it that dramatic? Well, then let's have a look at what Google says, because this table comes directly from Google, and first of all, we want to talk about the technical stuff that has changed. Because the measurement has completely changed. It was session-based and is now event-based. Then the reporting was very limited in Universal Analytics. Well, very limited is a bit over the top, but it has improved a lot in GA4 now, and you can cross-track with almost any platform. And also in the automation, they have done they've gone many steps ahead. So GA4 really is on a whole another level in our opinion now. And one thing that is especially interesting for you as the users, Universal Analytics used to be a static data model, and GA4 is a dynamic data model. What does that mean? Some of you might have created some custom dimensions in the past in Universal Analytics. And in Universal Analytics, if you wanted to know something really specific, you had to create a dimension, and then you would have to wait for data to flow in to then later analyze it. In GA4 now, however, you can create dimensions and metrics from almost any sort, of diagram, and you can create it by using the data you've already collected, and this is super, super powerful. So pretty much, you can change your data on the fly, and this just makes GA4 much more efficient and effectively than GA3. Yes, and another great thing about GA4 is the attribution model. We have now 7 different attribution models which we can choose between. For the ones of you that don't know what an attribution model is, an attribution model means basically when you have different touch points in a user, and it means whom the sale is attributed to, like which touch point, if it was Facebook, TikTok, Google, whatever, which touch point the sale is attributed to. And now we have 7 different attribution models which we can just choose between on the fly, and we can also use it to compare your data. How cool is that, guys?
Yeah, come on. All right, so as Chris just said, now GA4 is event-based. So guys, what's an event? Anyone knows? Yeah, exactly. So basically, it's the action that the user makes in your website. And now we have parameters for those events, so you can know additional information about what exactly happened. And for some reason, I don't know, all of them by default are switched off. So do you want to know what happens if we switch them on? Do you guys want to switch them on?
Come on.
Yes or no? So now Patrick is going to be able to know how many people watch his videos on the time average played in seconds, how many times the CTAs were clicked and which ones. And now with the scroll event, this is the most important one, because we don't have bounce rates anymore like we used to have in Universal Analytics. And that means this is the way to know if our content is relevant or not for the customer. All right? Patrick also will be able to know the outbound clicks, the form interactions, and the file downloads. Regarding e-commerce, where's Leo? So now, if Leo activates the in-hand e-commerce events, he will be able to know how many people view his products and which ones. Also, how many people added the cart, viewed the cart, begin the checkout process, if they were logged in or not, and finally, and the most important one, how many purchases. And with the parameters I say, you can know the total amount of the order, all right? One thing that was a strength in Universal Analytics now in GA4, it's even better. Now you guys have the possibility to link your GA4 with other products such as Google Ads, all right? What does it mean? So now you can inject your data from other products into your GA4 and use your data in GA4 for the other products. Let's say an example. So imagine we have Hotjar. Now we can do targeting in Hotjar with our GA4 data. How amazing is that?
I think pretty amazing, right? But as you might think now, we've talked about 50 slides about GA4. Now let's finally have a look inside, right? This is Google Analytics 4. So we have the 4 main sections. First of all, the left-hand navigation. We have a main section, a home section with the overview and the live reports. We have an explore section that allows us to create really good visualization of our data, like cohort reports or funnel reports. And we have an advertising section. And in the advertising section, we can check the advertising performance. And also, of course, the most important one are the reports, because in the report section, we have an almost fully customizable user interface, as you will see in a second. And this is very powerful because it allows us also to take the data from the other sections.
So are you happy, guys, with the power of GA4 already? Yes. Yes? So this is just the default setup. All right, yeah. I'll get used to it. All right, so this is just the default setup, guys. And actually, if you are just happy with the default one, you're losing a lot of potential. There's much more you can do with GA4. And indeed, you have less options and less information than Universal Analytics. So, why is it like that? Because Google, the way he's made it, is like an IKEA chair, all right? They are giving us the pieces, and it's up to us to build it in the proper way. But don't worry, guys, because we have assembled the pieces for you.
Perfectly said, Alex. This is why today we want to present you the plug-and-play GA4 Pro setup that we have tested in 7- and 8-figure brands so far, and that helped us a lot to track really good data with GA4. So, first of all, what has changed now? You can see here there's a social collection in the left-hand navigation, and let's jump right into the details of it, because this is the comparison. On the left side is the default setup, and all these different tables, we've added them all by ourselves, and we've integrated them into the user interface, so you can access them within a second. And it's not just about the cool emojis. I mean, they're pretty sick, right? But there's a lot more about them. Because you can track now your paid acquisition, like you get overviews over your performance marketing channels. You can track your e-commerce, like how are your products performing. You get all the important metrics in them. And of course, what's very important and what we're going to show you in a second, you get an overview over the meta placements and the ad performances. So how is my meta performing? And you can really, as you will see in a second, display that in Google Analytics 4.
So guys, we are so proud to introduce here our 4 top dashboard in our plug-and-play setup. To make tracking great again. Yeah, sorry for my joke. First of all, number 4, we have the segment overlaps. That's been there all the time, so you might be wondering, Alex, why are you, I mean, this has been forever there, like the websites were in black and white. But the thing is, now you can use those audiences from the segment overlaps for your Google Ads. How amazing is that? So, number 3, we have our custom tailored conversion funnel. So easily you can know where are the bottlenecks in your funnels and where exactly you are losing conversions. Number 2, meta placements. And this is especially useful for media buyers because now, guys, you're going to be able to see the performance and compare between different meta placements. Let's say an example. Now you can compare the performance of Instagram feed against Facebook feed, or for example, Instagram stories against Reels. And number one, and finally, we have the track and compare ad performance. This one, guys, is gonna be your best friend, because now you can double check data to avoid problems and also see which one of your ads is performing the best. So you can make scaling easier.
All right, as we're coming to an end, we wanted to stay in the Lord of the Rings metaphor, and we want you to know how powerful and how many options GA4 actually brings us. That's why we brought up this metaphor, the one tool to track them all. Because this is basically what GA4 can do for us if we set it up in the proper way. And we wanted to do a little exercise with you, but I know we're a bit over the time, so I think we're gonna skip the exercise this time. But we want to empathize you. The clock is really ticking. It's only 50 days left, so you should really see to get your GA4 set up as soon as possible. And that's why we in the Mastermind, this is normally what we do for clients, for our paying clients. But we're in the Mastermind, so we want to help each other out and stuff. So we prepared the GA4 plug-and-play Pro setup. I got it. With the Pro custom reports with our top 4 dashboards that Alex just displayed to you, and a newsletter with ongoing updates since GA4 is still evolving and still developing. So you can just scan the QR code and then you'll get everything. Just sign up for the newsletter and that's it.
Yeah, it's free, yeah?
We will send it also.
Unbelievable.
All right, I will give you a few more seconds. Like you can count down if you want.
3, 2, 1. Yeah, we're ready? All right, so we're coming to the end. Thank you so much. We did everything.
Hey, this is such a beautiful dynamic. I'm very much looking forward to seeing you two guys on the stage tonight and singing karaoke, right?
Yeah. I was here actually.
Stay right here with me because they have a lot of questions. I just want to say it's incredible how these platforms basically dictate your job too. So whenever like there's a new update coming out, I'm like, hey, yo, cool emojis, and like online marketers are like, let me sit down. So yeah, questions. Google Analytics 4. Who in here works with Google Analytics? Okay, right here, Lisa.
What's your opinion on client-side tracking versus server-side tracking? Is it necessary to make a switch?
I think that the time has to show this a bit, but I think it's like as we said, it's always important to really back up data. So I think it's really great to know about that there are these solutions and to really at least try them to see how much more data you can collect with them and if it's really more realistic.
Regarding revenue or tracking difference, have you ever seen a lot of difference in the revenue collected? Because in the GA3 it was like reported if you had a Shopify shop with, let's say, 20K revenue. In GA3 you just said like 16 or something like that. Is this also the problem?
Yes. The problem is due to the cookie bars because you can't track every user with Google Analytics, and of course Shopify knows the exact numbers. But the thing is of course the bigger the shop gets, the better. And the thing is that the relation between the numbers, they are really important and they are always the same, because if I have, let's say, 80% of all data, then the relations are still the same. It's the same for Meta, for TikTok, and then you can still work with it pretty well. All right.
The mic. So, one more time, give it up for Chris Dengler and Alejandro.